Welcome into Point Blank, brought to you by Fitz Roofing. I'm Brandon Stranger, Sports Map Houston. That's Joel Blank of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit subscribe on the channel. Click that bell so you get notifications, and like this video. We appreciate the support. Joel, want to talk to you because Buster Olney set social media on fire Tuesday night when he tweeted out that a high-ranking MLB official told him that the most likely landing spot for closer Craig Kimbrel is either Houston or Oakland. I have to ask you this. What do you think specifically about Houston and Oakland being named the likely landing spot?
I think for Houston, it's a huge coup just to be in the conversation because it shows that they're at least, as much as they're not talking to the media, James Click and Jim Crane, about the possibilities of adding to a really less than average bullpen. That lets me know what I wanted to know all along, which is when the rumor mill starts churning and the people in the know start spitting out some of the details and you find Houston's in the mix, it's a great thing. With Oakland, I wouldn't be too concerned about competing with them because the Moneyball franchise is always about keeping their farm system intact, not spending too much money, keeping everything close to the vest, and then riding it out and going as far as their young talent can take them. And if it gets to the point where they get outpriced, then they just walk away. Marcus Semien, the latest, and a lot of A's players that have walked on to greener pastures in terms of getting that bag of money. So I'm not worried about the A's as much, though it's surprising they're in the mix because they realize they are falling further and further behind an Astros team that is setting the bar and the standard for the American League. From an Astros perspective, it's phenomenal. I just don't know. It's a good problem to have, but I don't know how it shakes out. Ryan Presley has been lights out lately as a closer for this team. I don't know that Craig Kimbrel is going to want to be a setup man, and it would be interesting in terms of the dynamics of making sure both of them got the work, who got the saves, those kind of situations, but it would be a good problem to have, so I'd love to have it happen if it would.
So Fansited ran a piece outlining what they think could get it done. We'll get into that. Before we do, tell us about Fitz Roofing.
Yeah, we love Fitz Roofing. They're dedicated to the people of Houston, Texas. And they do so much more than just roof repairs. They do new roofs on business. They do new roofs on your house. They can also do home repairs. They can do fences in your yard. And the greatest thing is they do it all, and it starts with a free no-obligation inspection where they just come to you and tell you what they can do, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Just call them today, 832-521-3001, and you'll find out why Fitz Roofing is making a difference one home at a time.
So like I said, Fansited ran a piece outlining what they thought could get the deal done. The trade that they proposed was the Astros' number 3 prospect, right-handed pitcher Hunter Brown, plus reliever Brian Abreu, who we saw return to the club on Tuesday, and then 2 other top 30 prospects. They thought that could get it done. Now, we keep hearing about the farm system being depleted, and we know where their rank is at, and yet here we are talking about the Astros digging even deeper into the piggy bank to make a deal done. Do you think the Astros do have the goods in the farm system and maybe on the big team to make this sort of a bombshell deal and maybe outbid others, considering how depleted everything is? And maybe the other question is, should they do it?
Yeah, I'm not sure that giving up all of that is worth it for Craig Kimbrel, who's definitely not in his absolute prime. He's on the decline. You'd have to make sure you maintained him because from a financial standpoint, which factors in too, at least you know you're probably going to get the money back from Verlander and Greinke next year, so you'll have money in your piggy bank to pay Craig Kimbrel if that's the guy that you want. I still think that's a big haul to give up, and a lot of times these prospects, and if you go back and look at what the Astros gave up for Justin Verlander, the prospects that they gave up aren't exactly knocking the cover off the baseball or wowing anybody, so it's a risk that's worth taking for them. They also have a surplus of starting pitching, but I wouldn't touch it for a guy like Craig Kimbrel because they're in a very, very advantageous situation with all these guys under team contract doing phenomenal things on the mound, building up a rotation for the next several years down the road. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. There are other less expensive guys on the market that they could go after as well, but at least the fact that they're in these discussions makes me feel very, very good about a team that's heading in the right direction.
The Astros, as it stands, are already statistically favored to win the AL, and they are regarded as one of the most complete teams in the league. If they get Kimbrel, are they now the default favorite to win it all? in the same way that they were favored in 2019 after that Greinke trade?
Well, I think that you factor in a lot for the American League, Brandon. A lot of people, when the White Sox came to Houston, said this was a preview of the American League Championship Series, and the Astros handled their business. As you mentioned, from a standpoint overall team, the only hole that this team has with the improvement of Miles Straw and the absolute surprise contributions of Chas McCormick have proven that their only hole is the bullpen. And if one guy could get it done and push everybody back into their roles so that they could go deeper into games, not needing starters to go 7 innings plus, it would be a guy like a closer like Kimbrel. For the Astros to shut everybody up one final time and say, we're a talented team, you can do your garbage can banging and you can do all your complaining, but what you fail to realize is, cheating or not, this team's too good not to give them their due and respect, and I think it's definitely something that's on the horizon for this team if they can improve the bullpen.